I thought the night would pass in silence until the mattress dipped. A cold line traced my skin, and a breath I couldn't escape whispered through the dark. My body froze, but the night wasn't finished with me. September 3rd, between 2 and 3 a.m. The city outside slept in perfect silence, broken only by the faint hum of a streetlight bleeding through my curtains. Inside, the quiet wasn't comforting. It pressed, thick and expectant, as though the walls themselves were listening. I lay on my side, one arm folded beneath my pillow, the blanket twisted loosely around my hips. A thin strap of my nightdress had slipped, leaving my shoulder bare to the cool air. My body begged for rest, but my mind whispered questions I didn't want to answer. At first, it was nothing more than the mattress shifting, a subtle dip that could have been explained away. I told myself it was me, moving in half sleep, or maybe the old frame creaking under its own weight. But then it happened again, slower this time, heavier, as if someone had lowered themselves carefully onto the bed. Was I imagining it? Or was I no longer alone? My hand tightened around the sheet. My chest rose faster, every inhale shallow. Should I open my eyes and face it? Or would that only confirm what I feared most, that something was waiting for me in the dark? A cold line brushed against my shin. My lips parted with a gasp, sharp and unbidden. Goosebumps spread instantly across my skin. The touch lingered, sliding higher with deliberate patience, as though testing my reaction. Why didn't I pull away? Why did I tremble as though bracing for more? The air thickened, carrying a scent I couldn't place. Earth after rain, faint sweetness curling through the stillness. I inhaled it against my will, and dizziness followed. My chest heaved, shallow and erratic, betraying every thought I tried to bury. Could this really be happening? Or was I trapped in a waking nightmare crafted for me alone? Heat gathered suddenly at the nape of my neck. A breath spilled across my skin, steady and suffocating. My pulse stumbled, my thighs pressed together instinctively, and every nerve screamed both terror and something far more dangerous. No words were spoken, yet meaning carved itself into me as clearly as if I had heard it. Don't resist. I froze, paralyzed, every muscle betraying me with shivers I couldn't control. My lips parted, silent, as though my body answered without permission. Could it sense that weakness? Was that exactly what it wanted from me? The blanket shifted, sliding lower, inch by inch, exposing more of me to the night air. My fingers clawed desperately at the fabric, but it slipped further anyway, uncovering skin to whatever leaned close. The mattress groaned again, weight pressing harder, intent undeniable. And that was when I knew the night was only just beginning. The mattress dipped deeper, no longer tentative but firm, as though the unseen weight had fully claimed its place beside me. My chest pressed harder into the sheets, my arm trapped beneath the pillow, while my other hand clutched fabric that was no longer protecting me. The silence swelled until it felt alive, thick, heavy, humming with intent. The touch returned, sliding from my thigh across my waist with unbearable patience. My skin erupted with goosebumps, my breath fractured into uneven bursts. I wanted to scream, but my throat locked tight. Would anyone even hear me? Or would the sound be swallowed by the same silence that held me down? Heat radiated along my spine, seeping through the thin fabric until it burned. My lips parted around a gasp, too soft to resist, too loud to hide. Shame surged, because I wasn't only terrified, I was waiting. Did it sense that betrayal? Was that why the strokes lingered, deliberate, as though savoring each tremor? The air thickened further, filling with that scent, wet earth, faint sweetness, so strong it coated my tongue. My pulse hammered violently, each beat echoing in my ears like footsteps in the dark. I clutched the sheets tighter, but the mattress groaned as the weight shifted lower, pressing me into stillness. Then the breath. It spilled hot against the curve of my neck, curling beneath my ear, steady and suffocating. My entire body stiffened, and yet I arched involuntarily, as though the command within that breath had reached deeper than thought. Stay quiet. Not a voice, but meaning, undeniable and heavy. My thighs pressed together, trembling. My nails bit into the fabric beneath me, but my arms felt useless, bound by nothing more than fear. Could I break free if I tried? Or had I already surrendered, my silence the only answer it needed? The sheets tightened suddenly, pulling taut across my body as though unseen hands gripped them. My pulse faltered, my vision blurred, the room tilted, and for a moment I thought I might faint. But then the lamp flickered. A flash of fractured light spilled across the wall. My eyes snapped open. For one horrifying instant I saw it, something leaning over me, darker than shadow, closer than breath. The outline blurred, inhuman yet too near to deny. My lungs froze, my chest locked. The light blinked out. Darkness slammed back into place, thicker, heavier, sealing me in. And in that suffocating black, I knew. It hadn't come this close just to stop now. The darkness pressed against me like a living thing, heavier than the blankets, heavier than the weight pinning me down. My chest rose in shallow bursts, my lungs straining as though I were drowning without water. My arms trembled uselessly above my head, my legs caged by an invisible force that needed no chains to hold me. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was breathing, steady, patient, deliberate. The touch returned, sliding across my stomach, pausing just beneath my ribs before dragging lower, each second stretched endlessly, each trace sending a violent shiver through me. My lips parted with a gasp I couldn't swallow, sharp and humiliating. Shame burned hotter than fear, but the present seemed to revel in it, lowering closer, pressing more weight into the mattress. A hot breath spilled across my ear, curling down my throat. My pulse faltered, stuttering wildly. The meaning pressed into me again. Not words, not sound, but a command undeniable. Don't move. And I didn't. I couldn't. My body betrayed me, trembling harder, as though it had already chosen to obey. Could it feel my weakness? Was that the very thing it wanted to claim? The sheets tightened around me, stretched so taut I thought they would rip. My nails tore into the mattress, desperate for release. The scent grew overwhelming, earth, sweet and damp, so intoxicating it blurred thought itself. My vision swam, my chest heaved, and I realized I wasn't resisting anymore. I was only waiting, and then, suddenly, it stopped. The weight vanished, the heat dissolved, the silence thinned. My body collapsed into the bed, trembling, gulping air as though I'd surfaced from deep water. For one fragile moment, I believed it was over. I forced my eyes open, scanning the room, dresser, chair, curtain, all still, all ordinary. But then I looked at the blanket, 2 deep indentations pressed into the fabric at my sides, knees, perfectly shaped, impossibly still. My throat locked, my pulse roared. I watched in horror as they began to move, dragging slowly closer and closer, until they nearly touched my hips. I shut my eyes, praying it would vanish. When I opened them again, the marks were gone. Smooth fabric, silent room, but the silence felt different now, heavier, charged, full of promise. Even now, when I close my eyes, I wait for it. The dip of the mattress, the whisper at my ear, the command that left me trembling. Because once something chooses you in the dark, you never truly sleep alone again. Have you ever felt an unseen presence beside you at night? Share your story in the comments. I read them all. Subscribe to Paranormal Sleep and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next chilling midnight premiere. If this story sent chills through you, leave a like. It helps more people find their way into the dark with us.